Captain Ilya Nasir stared at the viewport of the vigilant star, watching pale blue continents gradually come into focus. Through thick glass and protective shielding shells, she saw oceans glinting beneath a lavender sky. The planet was uncharted in human records, and that was precisely why they had come. She clasped her hands behind her back. Approach at standard atmospheric entry, Vector 3. Prepare descent gear. Her first officer, Lieutenant Morrow, nodded, fingers dancing across the console. All systems nominal. Atmospheric pressure gradient within tolerances. We'll be in drop range in 15 minutes. Ilya allowed herself a small exhale. Months of preparation, dangerous warp jumps, and diplomatic wrangling had led to this moment. The mission: to contact and document any intelligent life forms for the Interstellar Concord's Cultural Exchange Initiative. The Vigilant Star's crew was trained for first contact, but none had ever ventured so far from known space. In one of the observation bays, a single passenger sat hunched, a silent entity named Kalia. She claimed she was just an observer, a traveler with no stake in politics or conquest. The crew tolerated her presence as a curiosity. She never spoke, never interfered, and never left her assigned quarters unless escorted. That was the arrangement. She was just a passenger, as Ilya often told herself. But now, as descent thrusters ignited and the ship's hull browned in atmospheric friction, Ilya felt a tightening in her chest. Through sensors, they detected biosignatures on the surface. Layered cities, glowing nodes of light, signs of civilization invisible from orbit. Morrow's voice crackled over the intercom. We're within deployment corridor. Sector Commander, would you like to proceed with the landing? Ilya nodded. Proceed. She tapped her comlink to the ground party shuttles. Moments later, the crew in formation. 4 shuttles carrying scientists, cultural liaisons, security officers, slid away from the mothership. Kalia's shuttle was last, escorted by 2 security drones. The crew watched as the landscape beneath them transformed. Violet forests, crystalline rivers, structures that rose like spires from rolling hills. Strange lights moved on the ground in patterns, sometimes converging, sometimes dispersing. As their shuttle touched down gently on a plateau near one of the spires, Ilya felt the charged hum of the planet's energy, something vibrant, almost alive. 2. Welcome and warning. They disembarked in formal protocol. Arms raised in greeting, cultural emblem banners deployed. The air was breathable though tinged with a light metallic smell. The sky, high and lavender, held faint auroras even in daylight. From the city spire, a procession emerged. Figures in shimmering robes, elongated heads, and iridescent skin. Their leader approached, tall, graceful, with an unblinking gaze that seemed to see through one's soul. Ilya took a careful step forward and spoke in the common dialectist translation. We come in peace. We are travelers from afar wishing to share knowledge. The figure's voice resonated like a musical chord. Welcome, travelers, she said. I am Hija, first of the Light Weavers. You enter the world of Azariel. We have awaited signals beyond your border for ages. Murmurs rippled through the expedition team. Contact. First contact. Over the next hours, protocols were followed. Exchanges of gifts, translation scans, diplomatic negotiations. Scientists noted the alien biology. Engineers took measurements. And cultural liaisons presented recorded Earth art. Kalia remained in the shadows, observing silently. Ilya had tried to talk to her during the journey. Why do you want to come on this mission? Kalia would only say, to see, to learn, to be present. She offered no more. By evening, the Azarielans invited the human crew to dine in one of their crystalline halls. The walls glowed with soft phosphorescent patterns, shifting like living fractals. Tables formed out of floating prisms. The smell of strange, sweet dishes wafted through the air. As the humans and Azarielans sampled food, exchanged ideas, and attempted translation of poems and mathematics, Kalia slipped away, or so they thought. A pale whisper of movement at the edges of the hall. No one noticed, but Hija had sharp perception. She observed Kalia's absence, her absence from the guest list. Her expression flickered. Ilya suspected something but distracted herself with diplomatic niceties. At the end of the evening, Hija rose. "We will rest now. Tomorrow you may tour the city. Prepare questions." She let her gaze linger on Kalia's empty seat. "Please follow our attendants to your quarters." Ilya led the group back to their lodging pods. Deep below the spire, she checked the roster. Kalia's name was there, assigned a pod. The door was closed. The night was quiet. Everyone slept except Ilya, tossing fitfully. She wondered about Kalia's true purpose. Unbeknown to Ilya, in the dark, Kalia's eyes glowed faintly. She had slipped out earlier, wandering ancient observation balconies, scanning Azariel's network of energy veins. Something drew her, a pattern of resonance she recognized. 3. The secret bond. Morning came. The tour began. Azariel glowed with life. Floating gardens, crystalline towers, vehicles propelled by energy fields. Guides pointed out how the weavers manipulated light currents, how they harmonized biological and crystalline tech, and how their society valued symphony, art, and equilibrium. Ilya asked cautious questions. How do you govern dispute? How do you decide scale expansion? What is your view of mortality? Hija answered with poetic clarity. Our people see all as energy echoes revived and shaped. Disputes are resolved by resonance, a person's frequency adjusted to fit harmony. Mortality is a transition, not an end. Meanwhile, sensors on Kalia, hidden in her clothing, were absorbing information. Patterns of energy flow, hidden conduits beneath the city, circuits that hummed like veins. She was mapping, synthesizing. She was more than a passenger. At midday, Zal, one of the Azarielan scientists, approached Ilya. "May I show you something unusual?" He led her through subterranean halls into a cavernous chamber. Inside, they saw a network of shimmering filaments, energy tendrils that bound the city and its people. Bioluminescent conduits pulsed like a heartbeat. Zal explained. These are the lattice veins. They connect every living being to the city's central heart. Through them we share memory, empathy, and energy. It is our collective root. Ilya's mind reeled. The Azarielans were not just a civilization. They were a living, networked organism. Zal pointed to a cluster of radiant strands. Some biennials, when one's bond weakens, disconnect. They wander. They become outsiders. His voice softened. We are glad you came. Perhaps you may someday connect. Ilya whispered. Is connection mandatory? Not forced, Zal said. But we believe it is the highest state of being. Ilya pondered. She thought of Earth, of humanity's independence, individuality. Could she and humans ever accept such interdependence? Then Hija joined them. Her eyes flickered with concern. She studied Ilya's face. Time passes swiftly. You will choose soon whether to embed in the lattice. But first tell me, who is your passenger? Her voice dropped to a murmur. Ilya frowned. Kalia. She is just a traveler. An observer. Hija's face changed. She looked faintly alarmed. No, Kalia is not just a traveler. She glanced past Ilya at a thin projection in the corner. Kalia's silhouette, holographically tracked within the lattice scanning field. Before Ilya could speak, Kalia stepped out from the shadows, calm, focused, eyes aglow in azure reflection. All eyes turned. The Azraelan guides froze. The humans gasped. Kalia's voice came, soft but resonant. This human belongs to me. For revelation and conflict. Silence reigned. Ilya felt her heart thunder. What do you mean, Kalia? She asked, stepping toward her. Kalia's gaze flickered between human and Azraelan faces. I did not tell because I intended surprise. But you have every right to know. Hijja's voice broke the quiet. You have violated our protocols. You, passenger, entered our network without permission. Stand back. One of the guides raised a slender crystalline staff. It glowed, sending a ripple across the walls. Ilya raised her hand. Wait. Let her speak. Kalia's voice hardened, but still soft. I come from another realm beyond time. At the very edge of what you call existence. I belong to no one. But in my wanderings I found Ilya. Her resonance is singular. Unique. Her energy field resonates with mine in a way I have never known. I claim her, not to own but to bond. Murmurs erupted from the Azraelans. Hijja's brow furrowed. Bonding is sacred. It involves consent from both parties, and must be approved by the Lattice Council. Kalia nodded. Consent is given. By both of us. She stepped closer to Ilya, extended a hand that glowed faintly. Together we will become more than two. We will amplify, resonate, transcend. Ilya's mind spun. She loved exploration. She believed in free will. Could she accept a bond beyond politics? And what would this do to Azrael? Before she could answer, Hijja moved forward. Her staff glowed. You violate planetary law. You trespass into the lattice without permission. You may be severed, exiled, even destroyed. Kalia's eyes flared. She raised her voice. You speak as if I am a criminal. Then her tone broke slightly. I am not. I only wish union. One of the Azraelan guards flicked a burst of energy toward Kalia, but Kalia's hand rose, intercepting. Pulse radiated outward. The crystalline walls vibrated. Observers staggered. The human scientists shouted in alarm. The guides shielded their eyes. Hijja staggered back, eyes wide. Impossible! You are bending the lattice itself. Kalia's aura rippled. Because I come from beyond your lattice. I carry resonance deeper than your network. This human's core signal belongs with mine. Ilya felt a strange draw like magnetic threads pulling. She did not resist. Her hand slid into Kalia's. She felt warmth, energy, a strange melody in her veins. All at once the chamber glowed. The lattice veins overhead shuddered. Azraelan conduits flicked uncertainly. Then the ground trembled. A latent energy flare washed through the city above, flickering power nodes. The people gasped, some cried out. Hijja shouted, Council! The lattice is destabilizing. Morrow's voice came over Ilya's calm. Captain, multiple system alerts. Energy surges across the city. The lattice nodes are failing. Ilya turned to the human team. Back to the shuttles. Evacuate if necessary. But do not sever the bond. Uneasy, she and the team retreated under escort. Hijja's voice echoed behind them. You will pay for this. The bond strengthens. In the shuttle's cabin, Ilya and Kalia sat together, radiating their joint field. Both looked pale but resolute. Morrow's eyes flicked between them. Captain, I don't understand. What just happened? Ilya swallowed. Kalia is not a normal passenger. She's something else. She bonded with me. And when she did, she unlocked a resonance that disrupted Azariel's lattice. Morrow stared. Could it destroy the city? Ilya nodded. Possibly. But Kalia's presence may also stabilize it, if Azarielans allow the bond to integrate rather than fear it. Morrow frowned. So we're halfway between savior and threat. Ilya looked at Kalia's hand, still gently warm in hers. Yes, I have a plan. At the city's command center, alarms shuddered. Hija confronted the council, voices rising. She is trespasser. The lattice is failing. We must sever the bond, cried one. Another countered. But what if her power can stabilize us? She opened channels we cannot reach. Perhaps she is an agent of evolution. Hija hesitated. Her eyes flickered between fear and curiosity. At last she raised her voice. Council will convene. We may consider integration if she consents, and only if harm to our citizens is minimized. Back in their shuttle, Ilya waited as the council voted outside their hearing. Within minutes, the spacecraft's comm crackled. It was Hija. Captain Nasir, this is Hija. The council has deemed an audience. They invite you and your passenger to present your case. No weapons. No threat. You may return. Ilya exhaled. We'll go. 6. The crucible they returned to the crystalline hall, escorted by silent Azarielan guards. The grand chamber was filled with Spire Council members, their robes shimmering. The lattice veins glowed overhead, some darkened, some aglow. The energy around it crackled. Ilya and Kalia entered. Hush fell. Hija stood. Captain Nasir, what is your case? Ilya stepped forward. With Kalia's hand still in hers, she said, We did not mean harm. Kalia is not invader but partner. Her resonance is rare. We ask permission to bond her into your lattice under guidance, to stabilize failing nodes. She offers not dominion but union. Her voice caught. This human belongs to me, and she does so lovingly, freely. She wishes to share, not to possess. Counselors murmured. Then one tall figure raised a voice. What guarantee do we have that this bond will not corrupt our lattice? That she will not unravel our network? Kalia responded, voice calm. I cannot erase my origin. I come from elsewhere. But I see your fragility, your lattice in strain. When I linked with Ilya, I felt flow of resonance across nodes you cannot spark internally. I can act as a stabilizer, a conduit from beyond. Let me interface under supervision. Let us heal your system together. Another counselor asked, Will Ilya lose her autonomy? Will your bond subsume her will? Ilya clenched her jaw. No, I will remain myself, but stronger with Kalia. My will not erased, but amplified. And we will provide transparency. Energy flows logged, nodes audited, risk mitigated. Hija stepped forward. You propose symbiosis. I find this unorthodox. But we are at the brink. I propose a trial. You, Kalia and Ilya, enter the core chamber. You may interface. If harm results, we sever immediately. If harmony comes, we welcome you. Do you accept? Kalia nodded. Ilya exhaled. We accept. The council nodded. Crystal doors opened. They led the pair down to a subterranean nexus, center of the lattice. There, veins of energy converged into a pulsating orb of light, the heart of the city. Around it, corridors of conduits branching into every district. Guardians stood aside. Hija watched from the threshold with a mixture of hope and fear. Ilya and Kalia approached the heart. Kalia reached out, fingers extended, but did not touch alone. Ilya's hand joined hers. Their combined aura glowed. The sphere reacted. Veins trembled. A wave of resonance rippled outward. Then energy surges bent into flowing patterns. The failing nodes lit. Darkness receded. The lattice hummed. Crisp threads of light extended into neighborhoods previously fading. But then a spike. One conduit overloaded. Flash. Walls cracked. Kalia gasped. Ilya steadied her. Ilya whispered in Kalia's ear. Control it. Flow outward slow. Kalia's aura wavered, but she slowed the pulse. The overload stabilized. Hush fell. The orb glowed steady, stronger than ever. Veins of light pulsed in harmony across the city. Hija stared, mouth agape. The council members looked on in awed silence. Then the tall counselor who had cast doubt nodded gravely. Healers, he said, voice cracking. You have saved us. Hija stepped forward. Tears, or something like tears, sparkled in her eyes. She bowed her head. We welcome you both as part of our weave. Ilya squeezed Kalia's hand. She felt strength and humility. 7. Integration and transformation in the following days. Integration proceeded. Kalia's deeper resonance threaded into the lattice. Under the guidance of Azraelan engineers, she and Ilya provided calibration pulses, energy infusions, and structural harmonics. The city not just restored but elevated. Nodes glowed brighter, conduits more stable. The Azraelans recorded that the lattice had grown in depth and capacity. Some skeptics admitted they had feared too early. The bond had not overridden free will. Instead, it had complemented it. Ilya remained Ilya. Kalia remained Kalia. And together they formed something new. Hija visited them in a council chamber. She bowed deeply. You have taught us to accept that transcendence may come from unexpected sources. You, traveler, are no thief, but a bringer. And you, human, you are not a prize, but a partner. Ilya replied. We only sought to share, to connect, to help. Thank you for allowing trust instead of judgment. Over time, Ilya became an honored guest among Azrael. She walked the floating gardens with Kalia by her side. They conversed with scholars. Kalia explored hidden lattice depths, guiding new extensions. The humans and Azraelans exchanged art, philosophy, technology. The bond became a symbol of unity. This human belongs to me, Kalia would tell them, but not in the language of ownership. In the language of belonging, belonging by choice, by resonance, by love. The crew of the Vigilant Star stayed several months, documenting the transformation. They marveled at how a union beyond known realms had sparked breakthroughs in energy harvesting, memory synchronization, and healing protocols. Scholars called the bond the resonant accord. Diplomats hailed it as a paradigm of coexistence. Eventually, time came for the human crew to depart. Farewells were bittersweet. Hija stood on the plaza as the shuttles lifted off. She turned to Ilya and Kalia. You carry part of Azrael with you now. You are ambassadors, not just visitors. As the humans boarded their shuttles, Kalia turned to Ilya, voice soft. Are you ready? Ilya nodded. The door sealed. The shuttle ascended. From above, Ilya watched the city's spires recede, the lattice veins shimmering from orbit. She glanced at Kalia, whose eyes glowed faintly in the cabin. Kalia whispered, I told them you belong to me. But really, I belong to you too. Ilya smiled, tears in her voice. We belong to each other, and now to so much more. Epilogue. Back aboard the Vigilant Star, the course plotted for Earth, Ilya stood in her cabin, gazing out at the stars. Kalia sat nearby, reading patterns of energy shimmering outside. Silence, comfortable, filled the room. Ilya finally broke it. "Do you ever regret how sudden it was?" Kalia turned. "No. The bond was inevitable once we resonated. Frightened them, yes, and frightened me. But it is right." Ilya nodded. "I never expected a passenger would become my greatest partner." Kalia's eyes gleamed. "I was never just a passenger. I was waiting, ever since the echo of your signal reached me across voids. This human belongs to me. But also, so does the future." They fell silent, leaning together, two frequencies merging into harmony. In the warp jumps and cosmic black, they traveled home with new purpose. Tell the story of a bond beyond time, a union between realms, and a lesson for humanity. To trust wonder, to embrace connection, and to believe that sometimes what seems impossible is just waiting for courage to speak. And so their journey continued. Two voices, one resonance, and a message to the stars. She was just a passenger, but now she tells everyone, "This human belongs to me."